up, awake youth? If we have not met, my name is Caitlin, and I'm super excited to be continuing in this series called What Test. And it's been so much fun because we've got to learn, we have tests in our lives every single day. Different things that we're going through, different things that we're going to face. And today we're going to go through the test called the offense test. And you maybe have heard a different word other than offense, just being offended. What offends you guys? I feel like everything in my life, every day, something offends me. I come home and I'm just like, oh, this really made me mad, or oh, I didn't like that. I get offended. And it's crazy because we get offended by small things, by dumb things, by sometimes big things, but we get offended by stuff every single day. And what I learned from offense, being offended, is if we don't solve it, it produces anger, jealousy, and bitterness into our lives, which really is not good things to produce in our lives. So I'm gonna name some things what maybe you and me maybe get offended by. One of them, this girl is talking to this guy like, oh, we don't like her. Best friend is hanging out with another friend. How dare he? Politics? Oh, guys, you guys are in school and you guys are already worried about politics. Don't worry. I was there. Parents telling me what to do. Ugh. Someone highlighting someone else. Ooh, they get all the praise and I don't. What the heck? Social media. A teacher calling you out. Me and you have always had those one teachers that always call you out. So what makes you jealous? Who makes you jealous? What thought of that situation, what is consuming your mind? You're like, ooh, I just can't get over what they did to me. What situation I was in. I can't get over it. It's consuming my thoughts. If you see a person and you feel angry or tense when you see them, guys, I'm going to call you out. I think you guys are offended. And we need some serious help with these offenses that are happening in our lives. I remember when I was in my chemistry class and one of my friends chose a different partner. You know when your teacher's like, okay, pick out a partner. And I look at my friend and I'm like, oh, me and you. No, she turned the other way. I was like, oh, I was offended. Guys, I don't think I talked to her the whole day after that. That is so petty, but I was so offended. I also remember when people post on Instagram and Snapchat these things that they believe in. They're like, this is right and this is wrong. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. So what did I do? I blow up that comment section. I'm like, this is wrong. This is not right. Blah, 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 blah. I'm offended by an Instagram post. You see, there's something every day, every single day that I feel offended by, but why? Why do these things consume me? Why do these things ruin my moods, ruin my days? Why? So when we carry offense with us, it becomes a weight on us. And I'm learning there's two stages of offense that we really go to. Stage one is feeling offended. Stage one, feeling offended. So these are people who someone didn't include you, someone judged you, someone let you down. I'm feeling offended. I felt hurt by that. You feel offended. And again, like I said, we go through this feeling every single day for the rest of our lives. And so this is like, you see these rocks. These are like our rocks. And say these are things that have offended us. And I have this bag, and we're going to pretend this is like my school backpack, okay? And so I have this bag that I carry around with me every single day. But I have things that offend me. So these rocks are offense. So like rock one is my parents rewarded my brother but didn't reward me. Ugh. So I'm going to carry that into my school bag. Rock two, my crush is getting talked to by another person. Ugh. Hate that. Someone I knew didn't agree with my politics. That's the worst. Ew. Oh, guys, this is already getting so heavy. I'm like, all these offenses are in my school backpack and I hate this. Someone didn't make a birthday post about me. I know you guys are watching those stories that they do about you and you're waiting for people to tag you. She didn't do a birthday post about you. You're offended. The person that my boyfriend's ex, oh, I don't like her. Ew, that's my boyfriend's ex. Ooh, I'm offended by her. I'm jealous of her. So, you see, these are really big rocks, and it's carrying a really big weight on me. And it's so hard to carry. Like, I don't even, like, this would hurt to carry every day. And so, stage one is I'm feeling offended. All these feelings that I have are going into my school backpack, right? The thing you carry every single day. But stage two is living offended. Living offended. And this is where we live with it. You know, I know my school backpack had things that never came out of it because I basically lived in there, right? So if I don't empty this, I live with it. If I don't empty the offense that I put in here, the feelings that I have, if I didn't empty that, then I'm living with this burden. I'm living with this weight in my life every single day. And so stage two is hard because stage two is a choice that you and I make. Stage two is a choice. Are you going to actually live with that? Are you actually going to carry that weight with you? Because you get to decide that. Or are you going to empty your bag out? Because living with offense is a choice that you and I make. You're free to do what you want. You and me have the freedom to make decisions, to make choices. But I notice sometimes when I make decisions, they don't actually work to gaining freedom from things because they're hard. They're uncomfortable to do. So how do we get to this freedom of offense? How do we not carry this weight with us every single day? How can we empty our bags out of offense? And I want to talk about a man named Simon. He was a man in the Bible who invited Jesus over to his house for dinner. And so Jesus goes over to Simon's house, and while Jesus is over at Simon's house, this woman comes to Simon's house. And Simon's like, ooh, we don't like her. Everybody in the town didn't like this woman. Why? Because she had so much sin in her life. She messed up a lot. She had a lot of wrongs. And so everybody at Simon's house is talking about this woman. Why? Why is she here? And this woman comes up to Jesus and starts talking to Jesus. And everyone's just like, oh, why? They feel offended. Why is Jesus talking to this woman who's messed up so much in her life? We don't associate with her. She's the talk of the town. Nobody talks to her. And so Jesus hears them and he says this: a man loaned money to two people, 500 pieces of silver to one and 50 pieces to the other. But neither of them could repay him. So he kindly forgave them both, canceling their debts. So who do you suppose loved him more after that? Simon answered, I suppose the one from whom he canceled the larger debt. That's right, Jesus said. Then he turned to the woman and said to Simon, look at this woman kneeling here. When I entered your home, you didn't offer me water to wash the dust from my feet, but she has washed them with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You didn't greet me with a kiss, but from the time I first came in, she has not stopped kissing my feet. You neglected the courtesy of olive oil to anoint my head, but she has anointed my feet with rare perfume. I tell you, her sins, and they are many, have been forgiven. So she has shown me much love. But a person who is forgiven little shows only little love. Then Jesus said to the woman, your sins are forgiven. So throughout the story, we see two main people. We see Simon, who's offended by this woman coming into his home and talking to an amazing person like Jesus. He's offended by that. He's probably thinking, well, Jesus doesn't talk to me like that way. Jesus doesn't give me attention like that. He's offended by this woman talking to Jesus. Then we see this woman coming into Simon's home, and everybody in the town talks about her wrongdoings, the things she does wrong, her sins that are many. Everyone's talking about that. And I bet that woman's thinking, well, I'm offended that you're talking about me. I'm offended for you judging me. And I think it's crazy because Jesus in the story forgives both of them. He forgives these two people who have these debts that need to be paid. Jesus forgives both. Simon and this woman, Jesus forgives both. So the freedom that I think that we all want and desire, it comes through forgiveness. The freedom from offense, from bitterness, from anger is from forgiveness. Forgive when you offend someone, but also forgive when someone has offended you. I remember in high school, me and my mom, guys, if you're a daughter and you and your mom have like a perfect relationship and don't argue, I will give you a pat on the back, because my mom and I, we always fought, we always argued, there was always something to argue about. And I remember one day we were on my way to school and she was like pointing out my clothes and I was like, Mom, stop. And I ended up saying something really mean to her. And she just was quiet the entire trip to school. And I started thinking, I was like, oh, she's never been quiet before. This means it's bad. This means we really made Mom mad. And so she drops me off and doesn't say anything to me. And then she picks me up and she doesn't say anything to me. So I go home and I'm offended that my mom, after our argument, doesn't say anything to me. I'm like, I'm mad. I'm like, you didn't say anything to me after this argument. You just give me the quietness. I was like, that's not fair. And I go in my room and I'm like, well, I said things that really hurt her, but I had to forgive what she said to me before I could ask for forgiveness. I had to soften my heart before I asked for forgiveness. So I asked for forgiveness of the things that she said to me. I was like, I forgive the things that she said to me. So after I forgave those things that she said to me that offended me, I go to her and I ask her for forgiveness. You see, the message that the world is telling us today is you have the right to be offended. But the message that Jesus is telling us today is you have the right to forgive. It's two opposite ways. You have the right to be offended is what the world is telling us, but Jesus is like, no. You have the right to forgive. And out of Luke 17:4, it says, even if that person wrongs you 7 times a day, that's a lot, and each time turns again and asks forgiveness, you must forgive. So the question we are going to end with and ask ourselves is, how do I live a life of forgiveness? How do I empty out my bag that I'm carrying with this weight? How do I live a life without that and trade that in for forgiveness? And I have 3 ways of how to do this. Number 1 is let God listen to you. This is interesting. Where I'm going to share what I'm going through. I'm going to share this offense that I'm going through. I'm going to share the situation. I'm going to talk about the person that offended me. I'm going to let God listen to what I'm saying. And I think when we do this actually helps us soften our heart towards people. When we do this, when we share these things that have offended us, we're softening our heart towards people. And the prayer that I start with in my day is, search me, O God, know my heart, test me and know my anxious thoughts, point out anything in me that offends you. The reason I start that prayer to my days, I go through things that offend me every day. There's a person that's going to leave me out. There's something that's said that I won't like. And so by starting this prayer with my day, I'm letting God search my heart. I'm letting God get all the things that are offending me, anger, bitterness, jealousy. I'm letting God search my heart to take those things away from me, take those rocks out of my bag. So number 1, let God listen to you. And number 2, talk to your tribe leader. I think it's so important to talk to God, but it's so important to talk to someone as your tribe leader too. Someone who's going to encourage you and lift you up. And what I think we do most of the time is we talk to people our age, and I think that just turns into gossip. And so something I want us to do, instead of talking to people our age, let's start talking to people who are going to be wise and encourage us, and that is our tribe leaders. They're going to lift you up. They're going to tell you experiences that they've gone through that are similar to yours. They want to pour this wisdom in you that they have because they've experienced the things you guys are experiencing right now. So talk to your tribe leader is point 2. And our last point is number 3, repeat that Jesus has forgiven you. You see, when we start reminding ourselves that, I make mistakes, I mess up, I offend people probably all the time. And when I remember that Jesus has forgiven me for the things I've done, for the places that I've messed up, I'm reminded that it's easier to forgive others when I'm reminded that Jesus forgives me. So I repeat that Jesus has forgiven me. Repeat that Jesus has forgiven you. So today, with these rocks, with this weight that we're carrying, right? This heavy weight. Oh, you even hear that. Let's start taking weight out of our bag today. In your tribe, take this rock, take this weight away from you, and let's trade it out with forgiveness. Let's get away from all these offenses that are weighing us down in life. Let's trade that with forgiveness. Because I'm telling you guys, when we start trading our offense with forgiveness, God is going to work through anything that is making your heart angry or bitter towards people. God is going to work through that. Let's pray. Dearly Father, just thank you for your forgiveness for us. Thank you for your reminder of your goodness and your love for us in our lives, God. I just thank you that you can help us with these rocks in our bag. You can help us with these rocks in our life that are weighing us down, that are becoming a burden in our life. And tonight, God, I just pray that you can just fill our bag with forgiveness, with peace, with love, God. That instead of producing anger, bitterness, or jealousy towards people, that we can produce forgiveness for people, that even when things offend us every day, Lord, that we produce forgiveness. So God, I know you're working on each and every one of our hearts, Lord. So God, I just pray for good conversation tonight. I pray for next steps and bold faith tonight, God. But we love you, and it's in your name. Amen.